makes what Nixon did look almost small.
Well, there you have it. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi not pulling any punches after the first week of impeachment hearings. But who's winning? Let's welcome back our panel. Don Larson, Diane Pierce, and Ricardo Franco. And Don, I'm going to start with you this time.
All right.
You know, and before we do this, I took a little impeachment poll on Twitter, okay? So it's not very scientific. It's not like the Quinnipiac poll. But hey, 43% said they're not watching. 30% said they are watching. And 27% said just don't care. So, with that being said, who's winning? Who's winning the impeachment war after week one?
Well, I looked at yesterday thoroughly, and I was very impressed by the two men who testified. And they're pretty impeccable in the credentials they carry behind their names. And I think yesterday the anti-Trump people were ahead.
Anti-Trump people ahead. All right, Diane, so that's a direct line to you.
Sure. No, I mean, I'm not quite sure how you figure that two star witnesses who've never met the president, don't know anything personal about the phone call, have third, fourth-hand information, and that's your star witness on this. I don't see how that could possibly put that side ahead. I think what the Republicans were able to point out was that this is highly partisan, and that even these people who are coming that are supposed to be credible witnesses, they may be credible individuals, but they're certainly not credible witnesses to this non-event.
Diane, let me ask you this, though. Was there quid pro quo?
Absolutely not. However, Joe Biden specifically said he did quid pro quo in saying, I'm not giving you your $1.5 billion if you don't fire this investigator. And then he says, well, son of a gun, the guy got fired. So I don't know how, when Democrats see that video and hear that straight into their ear holes, they don't hear quid pro quo there, but they think this transcript has something of that. It's
well, the
baffling.
Problem is Joe Biden's not the president right now.
He was vice president when he did
at
that.
The time,
at the
true,
time.
But he's not the one being the part of the impeachment investigation.
Right, but you can't have both of those things side by side and act like one means something, but the other we're just going to, you know, give
Ricardo,
him a pass.
who's winning? I mean, I mean, there are a lot of holes both ways. There's a lot of holes.
There was quid pro quo. I mean, you cannot have any politician coming out and asking for somebody to investigate a political rival.
But what's the smoking gun?
I think that they are laying it out pretty clearly right now from these witnesses of the timeline. And, you know, just like Don said, these gentlemen have fantastic credentials. For them to get spooked and startled like this is a big thing. But I think, too, at the end of the day right now, you know, as your poll shows us, the main winners right now are MSNBC and CNN and Brian Williams. They even moved up from 1 p.m. back in the daytime.
Sunday Morning Matters is the big winner. What are you talking about? All right, I want to get to this now. Bring it back locally here. Luis Chavez, you heard from him. The home building data that he released. $2.5 million worth of taxpayer money just sitting there at City Council that was supposed to be for these homes. Only a tenth of the dwellings of the 76,000 that was proposed from 2014 to 2024 that should have been built, only a tenth of that is now up and going. How disturbing is this? Don, I'll start.
It's very disturbing. We need housing in Fresno. The prices are going up because we have a lack of housing. And with that money sitting there, a great deal could have been done with it. And somebody on the city council, Chavez seems to be doing it, should ask why and why not, and where is it, and when are we going to get it going, when are we going to do something?
Well, the solution isn't a quick fix, but here's the thought. Diane, let me know. $2.5 million sitting there. How about the city giving a reimbursement, much like Newsom is asking PG&E to give a reimbursement to the folks who got their power cut out?
Yeah, I mean, I've never heard much about.
I know.
Yeah.
Crazy idea.
Yeah, the real problem we have here is that this general plan really shows what happens when politicians put their agenda and their ideals ahead of policy decisions. Because when the discussions were happening for this general plan, they were so focused on infill. They wanted Blackstone to be mixed-use development, meaning people living above the retail or commercial shops that are on Blackstone Avenue. They wanted everybody to be on public transportation or on their bikes. They were really trying to focus on not building these single-family homes. And you even had at that time this Southeast Growth Area, or SEGA. They tabled the whole thing, which was intended for a lot of these residential and those types of opportunities for people. So it really goes back to 2014 when this general plan was being developed. And really what they're seeing is the fruits of their label. This is exactly what they wanted. They didn't want development here in Fresno, and everybody said it'll go to Madera, it'll go to Clovis, and that's exactly what happened.
Ricardo, this has to be fixed, and I get it, but how much is Mayor Brand needs to, he said he hadn't really talked to Mayor Brand about this just yet. What do you think his reaction should be here?
Well, he should be outraged just like the rest of us are, right? When you've got that plan and that money going towards it, and then it's just sitting there and no one's doing something about it. To be quite frank with you, seeing Luis Chavez's interview right now, I'm disturbed that there aren't more answers of, well, it actually happened. He discovers a problem, but he didn't say, well, this is because why? If even he doesn't understand why, then we really do need answers. And quite frankly, it's starting, it makes me almost think I'm starting to smell a little bit of Operation Rezone back in the early 90s. I really hope that's not where we're at right now. But it's not a good look. It's not a good look for the city.
It's not. I want to finish with this because the City Council on Thursday passed 4-3 to create pot shops, 14 of them, 2 in each district. Of course, Mayor Brand could still veto it. We're expecting that he will. But pot shops, obviously every city council member doesn't want it in their district. Sake of argument here, Diane, I'll come to you. If you're going to have pot shops in Fresno, let's say that we do have them.
Right.
And it's approved. Why not put them all in Fulton Street and revitalize downtown Fresno, not near any schools? You draw a crowd down in downtown.
Because I can think of no better way to revitalize Fulton Street than 14 recreational pot shops.
Well, not all 14. I'm just saying start with a couple and then see how it goes.
Well, and that's really what the issue is here, and everyone kind of, well, I say everyone, like my everyone, really was concerned about the shift from medicinal pot to recreational pot, and that's what we're talking about here. These are recreational pot
This is
dispensaries.
commercial businesses.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so that's really that idea of everybody, when they're in the ballot box and they're voting for pot, they're thinking about smoking pot, and when now they're talking about having the dispensaries in their backyards, they're thinking about all these other pot smokers being in their community, and they're like, not in my backyard.
Don, I got 20 seconds. Help us out real quick. What do you think about this?
Well, I don't use the stuff, never have, not interested in trying it.
Are you sure?
I'm sure, absolutely. But the fact is, cities all over the state of California are opening these shops, and they're making tremendous amounts of money on them, and we have to be competitive too.
All right. We're going to revisit this. Ricardo, I know you want to chime in. I got to wrap. I'm out of time. We're going to revisit this because they're going to vote on it again on December 5th. Right. That's when we're going to have you back, by the way, to talk about it, all right? Put it on your calendar. All right, stay with us. We have much more after this short break. We'll be right back.